So sad. Anyway, it's Anvil Day. Anvil Aerospace Day in Invictus. Probably the, would you say Anvil has the most ships? It's either Anvil or Aegis for this event, right? That have the most ships. Anyway, it should be fun. As you can see, they've got a good lineup of ships here on the page behind me. I'm looking forward to going to the conference center. This is going to be a quick one for me, just a little floor tour, because I actually have a busy morning tomorrow. For all you guys who've been tracking my eye odyssey, I have a follow-up with the doctor in the morning. Figure out the status of my retina. So here we are, One Empire for Anvil Day at Invictus. Can't say I'm surprised that the Carrack is the front runner, the showrunner in this one. But I do see some new faces. We've got the Pisces flanking on the right. Let's see, what is that? On the left, is that the arrow? Looks like it's the arrow. And even a Terrapin, I think, peeking in the back over there. Let's dig into this. Let's dive in. Alright, C8R Pisces. It's nice that the Pisces now has a variant, right? Well, I guess they always had the Expedition and then the standard version. But now we've got the C8R, the medical version for all the Scarlets out there, all the aspiring doctors. But yes, now C8R has added the medical and the standard edition. This is one of my favorite starter ships slash snub ships. Back in my early boxer days, when I was like, getting used to flying around in Star Citizen and I was a boxer, I imagined myself leasing this from the delivery company because it's a perfect ship for doing those box delivery missions. You got the space right here. You got the drop seats here for your friends. Main seat here. It's got a decent quantum range. The only thing is you can't really fit a vehicle back here. That's, I guess, the only downside, but I love these ships. They're highly maneuverable. They are the Star Trek shuttlecraft. If you're a Star Trekky fan, even though I know RSI is a Star Trek brand. And now we got the medical Pisces in the house. Look at this bed right here. I mean, not big enough for, any magic, if you know what I'm talking about, but it will patch you up and get you back to the Carrack for that world-class medical service, right? And here's where you get your drugs. We trade one of the jump seats away for this regen terminal, medical terminal, whatever we're calling it. But I think it's a nice trade-off. Did you notice also the seats are upgraded in this one? It's got more pleather. Anyway, great ship. I love these. I don't think you can go wrong with a Pisces, right? If one of you guys out there thinks you can go wrong with a Pisces, I dare you to say it now. Oh man, who's hosing me down? Is that Rusty? I take it you didn't like what I have to say about the Pisces? That's what I should have said. If you disagree with me, hose me down. Or eat me. Anyway, Pisces, great ship. Get yourself a Pisces. What else is a great ship is these arrows here. I love these a lot. What would you say? These are like the entry-level fighters. One of the fastest ships in the game, too. This ship is so fast, I always end up like throwing up in the cockpit or passing out with my flying style, but super maneuverable. For all you low flyers out there, this is a fun one. Fairly reasonably priced in game, agile light fighter, known for great maneuverability, blah blah blah. But what you really want to know is it's only got a 1 size 1 shield generator, 1 size 3 mount, and 2 size 2 hardpoints. Other than that, a lot of fun. It's a great entry level fighter for those aspiring to get into the fighting game. The Gladiator. Gladiator? Dan owns a Gladiator, right? Like a Jeep Gladiator, right? But anyway, for those in Star Citizen, this is the only Gladiator you can get. It's one of these ships also that has a style that's an acquired taste, and like I said with the Starfarer, I have not quite acquired the taste, but I do think if you guys have the misfortune of sitting through Wing Commander the movie, I forced Bromway to do that with me once. The ships look kind of like this. They kind of remind me of this. But they are good fighters, from what I understand. And I believe there's a variant version also. Like it's got a module Yeah, it's supposed to be a modular ship. Can choose an extra cargo hold to put in here instead of the bomb bay. I'm not seeing it being that useful though. But it is a 2-crew ship. There is a gunner in there. I guess the role is technically a light bomber. I'm not much for the bombing game. Personally, I would go Hurricane over this, but that's just my personal feelings. If any of you guys are Gladiator pilots, let me know what you think. Is it worth your pesos? You know what's not technically worth your hard-earned pennies though is the Anvil Terrapin over here. Even though it is a super cool ship. I love the Terrapin. I'm a Terrapin lover, so I'm a little bit biased. The ship really doesn't have much of a use in game though. I think that's fair to say. And it was a bit overhyped, so for the price point, not exactly the best bargain you can find out there. This is like a passion purchase is what I like to call it. Anyway, it's supposed to be a heavily armored scout ship, 1 to 2 people crew. One cool thing I like about this ship is when you get inside the scanning station here, you got that cool like fog effect, right? But it's a lot of wasted space, if you ask me, for the crew. I mean, it's not a stealth ship, but it is built with a lot of armor, so you can take a pounding, and you're supposed to scout ahead and see what's out there. Not a very fast ship, though, I must say. Although I did take this into Jumptown once and had a successful run, believe it or not. I must have it on film somewhere. Anyway, this is a ship that you have to experience flying. It's dreadfully slow, but I do like it. It's a flying brick. It earns that name Terrapin very well. With a very Spartan interior. But it does have size 3 nose turrets though. So that's kind of nice. And a size 3 scanning suite, if scanning ever becomes useful in the game. We know it will at some point, I just can't tell you what year. Anyway, Anvil Carrack here. The exploration ship of the game. This is kind of like your do-all ship. Does it all. Great cargo bay in here. What does it carry? Like 456 SUs of cargo? I'm just guessing off the top of my head. I'm more opinionated than good than factual information. But it is actually 456 SUs. Yeah, as a trucker, I just remember that. Great crew ship in here though. You have like, I don't know, this ship can pretty much do everything, right? I mean, it's got a great med bay. Is it tier 2 trauma center? I'm sure one of the doctors out there will correct me on that one. It's got a hangar for your snub ship, which is supposed to be the Pisces, but it can fit some other ships, so that's pretty cool too. Obviously the bottom down here with the cargo is not the most exciting spot to be in. Where's that elevator? I just want to go up and see the med bay. But it's kind of nice. I mean, that cargo bay can hold... Wait, this doesn't look right. Oh no. Where's the elevator? Where's the elevator? It's gonna crush me, isn't it? It's too bad I don't have a friend here who could open the door and let me out. Look at that. That elevator just like... What do you suppose happened there? Well, anyway, it's not good. I guess I won't be getting inside ships. Large ships for the rest of the day here. Ugh.
15 minutes later.
But yeah, if you are here, I don't recommend going inside this Carrack. This particular one. Maybe other particular Carracks. But the Carrack is definitely a ship worth renting. You're home away from home, can do everything. It's got a hefty price tag, but it might just be worth it for you and your org. If you want to dink around the galaxy, you can make money as a trader. You can carry all your vehicles in there. You can carry a lot of STDs in there. If you have to do a Xeno threat or whatever, you can go into battle. You can get it down. And, you know, if you're in org and this is like your org ship, I don't think it's a bad one, right? It could be like your office away from home since I was here. Oh, before we go, it's the Hawk. We should talk about the Hawk, right? The Hawk is a light fighter, bounty hunting ship extraordinaire. does actually carry 2, but the second person may not enjoy the accommodations because they're in the holding cell in the back. I actually enjoy this ship. I have one. I think it maneuvers pretty well. It's got that EMP going on. Yeah, this is the holding cell, right? You see? Can I get in here? Let's get in the prisoner seat just for the heck of it. So when you're Boba Fetting around, you got your marks. Yeah, you would slide them in the back right there. And I mean, they would get this view, which, you know, it's not great, but at least you're not going to die in atmosphere. You know. But I think it's a great looking ship, actually. And the commercial for it's pretty cool. It's got like a Blade Runner feel, if you ever see that commercial. It's got like a EMP device, right? So it can, if you're good at EMP warfare, electronic warfare, you can shut down the ships that you're going against, which you might need because it's not the most heavily armored ship. It does have like a thruster bug, which sometimes where the thruster gets knocked off, it doesn't seem to repair it all the time correctly. But 4 size 2 gun hard points, 2 size 1 sucker punches. Those are distortion cannons, but I just like to say sucker punch. Sometimes there was a bug in here where the EMP device would drain all the other weapons, so that was like a little bit annoying sometimes. I hope they fixed that. Anyway, I mean, it's, you know, it's not a heavy fighter, it's a light fighter, so it's kind of weak in general, but I just like the way this thing looks. As you can see, well, Bromway had an interesting technique for getting in and out of this ship, but I think it's a great design. You can see this like navigating through cityscapes and getting in and out for your would-be enforcers. I feel like we're starting out with the coolest fighters first, but here's the F-8A Lightning, right? Heavy fighter used by the UAE Navy to support space superiority. So if you want to feel superior, this is your ship. And it is a superior sexy beast, if I do say so myself. Why, pray tell, is it? Well, 2 size 4 hard points, 2 size 3 hard points, 2 size 3 laser repeaters, 1 size 5 remote turret, and 2 size 3 missile racks. It was almost like Anvil was like, let's just throw everything in here except the kitchen sink at the enemy. And anyway, there's an executive edition in Concierge for your, you know, high-priced executives there. And my lovely assistant climbed into the cockpit. Very cool ship, though. Anyway, moving along to the next rule of cool ship here, we got the Hurricane, or as I like to call her, the Cane. The Cane has some pretty cool paint jobs this year. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Anyway, this was the original OP fighter. I think it's still OP. And I think my frame rate's taking a dump again. Hella decent going on here. But anyway, this is a 2-person heavy fighter. I think like when it comes to the heavy fighters, it's like either between this or the Scorpius, right? And it really depends on, I guess, what your philosophy is. I kind of think this one is still the better one, even though it's older. Although I like both. You get the most out of it by having 2 pilots in there. So if you don't have any friends, get some. Anyway, Kane's a heavy fighter, 2 size 3 repeaters, 4 size 3 repeater turrets, 4 size 2 missile racks. So the big difference between this and the Scorpius, right, is Scorpius has 2 more guns, right? Because the Scorpius has 8 size 3s. Scorpius has 2 more guns, right? But they're 8 size 3s. Versus the Hurricane here, which has 6 size 3s. So I guess technically the Scorpius has 2 more guns. Something like that. Anyway, I've heard the gunners in this enjoy it more. I don't know. Well, I can't really say because I've never been a gunner in the Scorpius. I've always flown it from the pilot seat. But a friend of the show, Meow, took me out on their Hurricane, and I was gunning in this, and we were taking down like some heavy ships, and it was a lot of fun. I think just the visibility and range of motion in that turret is awesome. And it's a sexy beast, sweet looking ship. So let's see. Scarlet says it comes down to the fact that the Scorpius will be able to use a computer blade later on to use all 8 guns. But anyway, I think you're talking like in the future, right? That's where it'll distinguish itself. But right now, I still think it's a toss-up. It really just depends on your fighting style. For me personally, what you like. I think I'm in love with this ship. I'm just looking at the shape of it and the size. And they have like a red and white paint job. Maybe we'll look into that later. Anyway, the big elephant in the room here is the Valkyrie. Technically a dropship, right? But I think of it as just like a crew transport ship. But it's a nice one. I'll have to look up the number of seats, but I mean that big ramp in the back, I know you can fit 4 rocks in there because way back in the day when I was in like mining, I went out with like I'm like a member of the United Earth Mining Corp, huge mining org, and they took me out in a few of these, and we did some rock mining. It was just some fun. Even though I know you're not really supposed to be using this ship for like logistical stuff, I guess it's more military leaning, but where it sits right now is, I mean, I think it's just fun to take an org or a group of people around to do stuff. But anyway, technically heavy dropship, 20 dedicated jump seats, so that's a lot of people. I personally don't have 20 friends. That'd be a stretch for me in any world. I think. Like I mentioned, we were able to cram 4 rocks in the back of this thing now. 2-man turrets with size 3 guns. Oh, and there's these cool... Pretty much all the dropships have this though, even the Cutlass Steel, which I've been meaning to do a video on why that's a steel, but not the kind of steel that you think it is. And I will say from flying this, I have had 1 or 2 accidents because it does not stop on a dime, but you know, it really shouldn't. Are you dancing in front of my turret? But anyway, yeah, I guess in theory you should be able to stand out here and, you know, clear a path. I also think the gunner would probably be the first person to get shot though, right? I think it's a cool ship. I just don't have one because for the price, I always found something else that I'd rather buy. Anyway, also it has no proper airlock for space engagements, so it's really made for planet side action only. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I guess you can evac through the back. But you're right, like whenever it's like Xeno threat time or whatever, I never see anybody taking these out with their boys, right? I hadn't even thought about that. That was a good point, Scarlet. Alright, MK2 Hornets. The Hornets are... I don't really see too many people flying Hornets, you know? I got a Hornet just because I wanted that Love Seeker paint job. I thought it'd be cool to, you know, take a certain someone out in the Love Seeker. And unfortunately, the only person I took out was Bass, and accidentally got us ejected, and Bass has never let me forget it. But, I don't know. I'm not really too into flying these for some reason. Is it me, or they're not really in a good place right now in the game? I mean, I think they look cool. They were like the original Pledge fighter, right? But, I don't know, I think it could use some love, and I'm not just talking about a Love Seeker paint job. Anyway, it comes in 5 variants, I believe. Yeah, the Ghost, which is the stealth version, you know, the Tracker, which is the Pathfinder, the Super Hornet, medium fighter, the Wildfire, also a medium fighter, and the regular Hornet. They're all medium fighters, so just bring different stuff to it. The Wildfire is like one of those masters of combat deals. Anyway, I like the way it looks. I'm gonna spend more time in it this year so I can get a proper understanding of it. Where's my ladder? Oh my gosh, just falling out. Let's see, let's check in on Trad here. Let's see, the big air vents on either side look funny to you. Yeah, they look like air conditioners, right? I like it though, actually, because again, it reminds me of like the original Wing Commander ships. I feel like they put the Wing Commander ships under the Anvil brand. So I think, like, from playing those games as a kid, I don't know, I think maybe it's fan service for guys like me. But yeah, it can look weird, for sure. But what is cool is it is a 2-person ship and there's a nice turret in the back, right? I don't know, we should take my Love Seeker out. Because nothing says love like shooting down ships in an F7. Alright, what are we looking at here? Is this the Ballista? Yeah, the Dave Ballista. I mean, Anvil Ballista. Let's see, this sits on the, what's the name of that platform? I have to write all this stuff down in my notes because I'm like, I can't remember it all. Let's see, it sits on the Atlas chassis, which is shared by the Spartan and the Centurian. All variants. It's another way for them to shell more ships. I mean, I'm just kidding. But this one is the missile variant. I've heard this one is kind of cool to use for like jump down and stuff like that. If you want to shoot down like enemy ships. I don't know though, for sure. I've always thought that the cockpit in these kind of gives you like an, you know, a Euro trucker kind of feel to it. Right, because you can see my fanny way. Right, it's got like a steering wheel and everything. It's like a big rig feeling to it. Me personally, because I'm more of a transporter, I like the Spartan variant. I'm not sure if they have that one out. And would you believe I had a Centurion, but I never used it? So I can't really talk about the Centurion. But I used it as an LTI token before I could actually like use it. Use it. You know, use it, you lose it. Is this a Centurion? Yeah, it is. So let's see, the Centurion dominates any combat zone quickly and efficiently, defeating threats from above. Well, you could say the same thing about the Ballista, right? Anyway, this one's supposed to have a massive, I say, anti-aircraft turret that neutralizes short-range air targets. So, you know, good for larger combat apps, that sort of stuff. Ops, excuse me. All ground vehicles are pretty reasonable in game, so there's no need to, like, you know, rush out and pledge for these. So I think I would just, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll make my goal to buy every ground vehicle and rate them. Scarlet says it cannot fire straight up. That's how most of the fighters tend to kill them. Yeah, I think I heard something about the range of fire being limited. I guess if it could fire straight up though, it'd be too unstoppable maybe. But yeah, I mean, if you know what you're doing, I mean, I obviously don't, but, you know, based on what you just said, if I saw one, right, you would just go straight up from the top and come down on it, right? Easy to pick off. Dare I say a death trap. And here's the Spartan variant, my favorite of the bunch. Probably because it's the school bus of the verse. Got all your seats back here. Oh, wow. Are these NPCs or just like other people? Isn't that interesting? How you doing? And how you doing? The only thing I would say is that, you know, it's not much of a view back here. That's why I think like I like the Ursa rovers more a little bit. Especially if that new rover comes out. Speculation, I don't know. Anyway, I call it the school bus. 8 troop capacity in this guy. I thought it was a great LTI token when it debuted, so I got a few of them. I would have given them away, but for some reason, I don't know why this is the case, but for some reason I couldn't like give them away. And I know I didn't use like store credit. I'm just guessing it's the Crucible. It is the Crucible. The Flying Toolkit. This is an interesting ship, but I think between the two repair ships, the Vulcan and this is the ship to get. Yeah, it's got a dedicated repair shop with a rotating bridge. Mobile garages for repairing ships and repairing drones. And it's got repair drones on it, excuse me. So, where the Vulcan just uses drones, this can do both drones and repair inside the ship, so that's pretty cool. Still in concept, so I mean, and who knows when this thing is ever going to come out. But the reason why I think this is an awesome ship is that it carries 230 SUs of cargo also. So it can double as a transport ship. A 3 to 8 person crew. I don't see any reason why you couldn't be contracted to transport player ships in this as well. I guess it's not really going to be able to defend itself too well, but I don't know. The Inforunner sold me on this one as being a valuable ship. I think it's going to be great. Currently at a $350 price tag. Is that what you said, Scarlet? Scarlet says the Inforunners think this will go up by $100. I don't know. I think a price hike is definitely in the cards. How much? Tough to say, right? $100 is probably fair. Unless they start adding really, really cool stuff like they did with the Bandy Merchantman, right? Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, we gotta talk about this. Just because this is very odd. What is this about here? It's like, we are the cult of the Mobiglass. Come on, Star Citizen. We could fix the NPCs, and we should. there's Bromway blending in. She's like, I am one of you. The cult of the glass. This is pretty much a reflection of today's society, right? We're just like all on our mobile devices. So much so that they don't even know that they're walking into a wall. They're like too busy on Instagram or tweeting or something like that, right? It's the future, Star Citizen. But yeah, I think in all these patches we could fix the star map, and I don't know, if ChatGPT is the thing, we should be able to give these NPCs a little bit more intelligence. Yeah, Scarlet's like, I believe. That's what it looks like. Alright, here's Legionnaire's disease. I didn't recognize it in holo form for some reason. Let's see, this is going to be a breaching ship, right? It's going to be a personnel transport with electronic warfare. They call it a boarding vessel. I call it a pirate's dream come true. Kind of like a dropship, but not really, because, you know, we're, like Scarlet was saying, how the Valkyrie is great on planetary surface. This is going to be better in space. We're shutting down ships and then boarding them. To be quite honest, I like the shape of it, but let's face it, this is another one they lifted from Elite Dangerous. It looks like a chieftain from Elite Dangerous to me. So with the electronic warfare, it's supposed to have like a hacking capability to hack your way into the enemy ships. Carries a good amount of troops, 2 crew, and 10 boarders. So yeah, I mean, I'm not, you know, far be it for me to suggest that Anvil ships would be used for piracy, but I don't see any reason why this can't roll up on a hull D or E and be like, hey, we're coming aboard, give us all your stuff. Let's see, Scarlet says many people think this looks like the Pelican from Halo. Well, you said the ship from Halo, I'm assuming it's the Pelican. Probably because the Pelican is also a troop carrier, so I guess I can kind of see that a little. Yeah, it's got the Halo ship in the back, but I still think it looks more like the Chieftain. I'll have to pop a Chieftain picture up there. Alright, here's a ship I'm very excited about. It's in my boxing nature, my trucking nature. We got the Liberator, which I think is named incorrectly. I'm not sure why they would call it a Liberator. I'm not sure what it's liberating. But anyway, it's a small cruise ship of just 1 to 2 people, but it's a huge cargo ship, carries 400 SUs of cargo. But it's really designed to carry other people's ships around. So it's, I don't know, like, because I actually moved from New York to California, I had to pay a Russian guy with a semi-truck who showed up to my place in Queens. And, thanks for that pie, by the way. He loaded up my beloved car on it, and he said, I'll see you in California. And, sure enough, he did. So he transported my car from New York to California. I don't know how much it cost because the company that hired me paid for it, but when I think about the ship, I think about that guy, because it's going to be doing those kinds of jobs. Long story short, you know, probably getting your ships from the Pyros of the world and other places in the verse, from place to place. It's the U-Haul of the military, I guess. And it's also got 3 massive quantum drives for long-range hauling, so that's another reason why you would probably take your smaller ships and put it inside this guy. Doesn't look very good in holo form though. The hologram doesn't do it justice. Anyway, I'm definitely going to be getting one. Just going to be hauling like a mofo in that. What am I saying? I'm already getting one. It's already in my hangar. It was there. Like when it was first announced, I was like, I'm going to get it for the cheapest price. I think it's going to get a price hike when it comes out, just not probably a major one, because we already know what it's going to do, and I think it's going to stick to that. So if I was a betting man, I think no more than $50 or $75 price hike. We should like have predictions and then see if it comes out or not. And the club is open over there. Bromway breaking it down. Doing a little staying alive, some break dancing. Showing off that hairdo. Alright, let's see. We got the sale page up. Anvil Aerospace Day. Let's see what's going on here. Ballista. Let's say bad buy on this one. Does that work? It does. Alright, so we're giving a Ballista a bad buy. Not because I think it's a bad vehicle, but just, you know, why spend money on a ground vehicle? Get that cheap. C8R Pisces. This might be the deal of the day, I think. This is a good buy for me. I'm all over this one. I mean, the only thing I think it doesn't do well for a snub-sized ship is, I mean, you can't really carry a vehicle back there, but I bet someday they're going to come out with some compact vehicle you can slide back there. Like a hoverboard, right? Or something. But, you know, the medical capabilities alone makes this a very valuable ship. It's a decent price point, I think. And, yeah, it's a Pisces. These are a great ship to fly. Super cool. Let's see what else we got going on here. Pisces Expedition. This is probably the deal of the day, though, at $45. It's a best buy. You know, if you're on the fence about a ship, if you're between a ship and you're thinking, ooh, I want to get the new Mirai, screw the Mirai, get this. Way, way better. It is the superior snub ship, and it's got a quantum. You can carry 3 of your friends, the boxes in the back. It's a lot of brewskis. Just, you know, just trust me. Pisces. Carrack, $600. God. I mean, I don't know. Can we say any digital item at this price is a good buy? But it is a very capable ship. I like it a lot. I think if you're going to spend this kind of money on a ship, you can only spend it on one ship in the verse. It might as well be this one. Because you can get everything else with it. So, because it's $600, I got to give it a bad buy. But in my heart of hearts, I want to say it's okay. But it's not okay. It's a bad buy. You know, you should not have to spend this kind of money. But it is a good ship to have. It's a great ship. Love me some Carrack. Centurion, bad buy. Get this out of here. Crucible at $350. Wow. Yeah, so we talked about this one. It's probably going to go up in price. You can see it's repairing a ship there. A lot of speculation on what it can and can't do. The only thing I hate about ships like this, and I feel the same way about the Endeavor, we're talking about features they haven't developed yet. And I feel like that can always change, right? They can always just say, hey, this isn't working out. Like if it was a publisher, right, they would just take out some features. But I do think that this one will work out for what it can do as far as repairing ships, and that's going to be pretty valuable, right, for your org. I'm going to say it's an okay buy, because I think, like, if you can't afford a Carrack and you got this instead, you know, or you can't afford a, what's the other one? Not the Legionnaire. The Liberator. Gosh, why do they call it the Liberator? Anyway, you know, it can transport some ships, so, you know, it can do some Liberator stuff, but it can also do repairs. I mean, it's the healer in your group. I think that this one's going to be pretty valuable to have. We're just going to quickly go through these. Any Hornet's going to be a bad buy for me. Although I think they're decent ships, I just think they're overpriced for what they are. So, you know, just check off that bad buy box. Buy it in game. Have fun with it in game. Save your pledge dollars for something else. Gladiator, 165. I mean, it's, you know, I can't really speak to this one because I'm not a bombing guy or anything like that, but I still think because it's a fighter, just buy it in game. Take that 165 and spend it on something else. You know, there's probably like a better pledge out there for you. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. What are you guys laughing about here? I guess it's better than the Penetrator. Somebody's going to come out with that name now, right? If they can get away with it. I don't think Chris Roberts would clear it. That's what the Legionnaire should be, though. The right? Because that's literally the function of that ship. Anyway, moving along to Hawk. I'm gonna say it's an okay buy, actually. I like this ship. I mean, it's a passion purchase, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a fighter, so you should technically buy it in game, but you know, they get you on the FOMO. It's only available 2 times a year, unless they throw it in some special event. But I happen to like my Hawk. I really do. It is overpriced, so we can't say it's a good buy. And I would say buy every other ship you want first, and then if you're like me and you have all the ships you want, and these sales roll around, and you're like, I'm feeling like buying something, and maybe get a Hawk. The Hurricane at $210. How much does a Scorpius cost? So last year a Scorpius was at $240. I'm assuming it's probably going to be the same price. I think it's probably a bargain if you're comparing it these two ships. Let's face it, it's overpriced though, and it's a fighter, so you should buy it in game, so that's an easy one to call a bad buy. But as far as a ship, you know, again, same thing I'm going to say with the Hawk. If you have all the other ships that you want in the game and sale rolls around, I don't think this is a bad one to get. Alright, it's a Legionnaire. Dedicated boarding vessel. This was a great deal when it first debuted. I think it was like $100, right? It can't really carry cargo though, right? I mean, the cargo is just human people. But yeah, it carries 10 boarders. I think it's going to be pretty maneuverable. Probably a lot of fun to fly. I suppose it's okay, you know, if you're into the boarding game. If you're a pirate, you know. But I think when it goes up in price, this isn't going to be a great deal at all. So, if it's on your radar, maybe something you want to grab now. Alright, the Liberator, which is really named incorrectly. Deep Strike Light Carrier. I don't know if... Can we really call it a carrier? I don't know. Like, when I think of carrier, I think of like something with a massive flight deck that, you know, people can land on or whatever. But, anyway, it's a decent transport ship. I think for cargo people out there, this is a good ship. It is a little overpriced. I would like to see it in the 400 range because, I mean, 575, I mean, that's more than a C2. We know we can pack a lot of, like, ground vehicles in a C2, right? But I do understand that this one carries spaceships and all that stuff. I'm going to say it's a bad buy. I don't really like it at that price. But, you know, if this is the gameplay for you, then, you know, you should get it. Even though I'm calling it bad buy, I got it. You know, get what you like, you know, basically. But from a realism standpoint, from a logical standpoint, this is not a good deal, right? Plus, maybe give yourself some stretch goals in game, right? Easy one, ground vehicle, Spartan, even though I like it, bad buy it in game. Terrapin, oh my gosh, it's my passion project. You get a bad buy score, especially because the gameplay isn't in the game for this yet. But I'm not, this one's just highly overpriced for what it is. You know, especially because there's really no gameplay for it right now. Like, they should have released that later, I think. And Valkyrie at 375, kind of a bad buy. It's that price tag, you know. Arrow at 75. It's an okay buy. I think it's okay. I would like to see it around $50, but yeah, 75. Not terrible, but it is a fighter, so I think you should buy it in game. Are there deals going on? Oh, the Gladiator's the deal of the day. Why couldn't it be the Hurricane? Oh, all sevens out there. I hope you guys enjoy it. So I know Dan...